And how's everybody doing? I'm Jay Elsen, and this is Coyote Corner. Well, on the heels of an emotional and disappointing rivalry weekend, the USD men got a well-timed reprieve on their schedule. For one night and one night only, the Coyotes would get a break from Summit League action as they played host to NAIA opponent Peru State. Tough not to feel a little bad for the Bobcats in this one. The Coyotes jumped all over them early on. A whole bunch of guys got extended minutes in this game. Casey Kasperbauer was one of them. All 12 of his points came from beyond the arc. He was 4 for 7 from outside. The starters did get a little work in. Trevor Gruce steps through the D and scores. 6 points, 7 boards for him. USD up 25 at the break. The show really got started in the second. Trey Norris pushes ahead to Tyler Flack for the high percentage finish. Flack at a team high 13. Coyotes take it up a notch from there. Tyler Larson, the alley-oop to Tavian Pomley. That stretched the lead to 29. A couple minutes later, Pomley on the receiving end again, this time from Kasperbauer. USD led by as many as 49 in the second half, and they cruised past Peru State as expected, 80-40. Not only did it build some confidence, probably a good tune-up for the second half of the Summit League schedule.
A game like this is great, non-conference right in the middle of the season. I mean, especially after a little slump to get our confidence back up. We had some certain goals that we wanted to achieve as far as holding them to a certain amount of points, and we were able to do that. So let's move on to the next one.
We just really wanted to jump on this team and actually get the game over with and play hard. So I think we did that, and hopefully we can carry on the road.
It was a disappointing weekend. There's no question about that, and they're disappointed about it. And you know what? I'm glad they are. You know, that just tells you how competitive they are. But it was nice they can bounce back and have focus and hold this team to 40 points. But now it gets more serious again on the back half of this conference swing.
That swing started Saturday night in Denver. Coyotes looking to complete a season sweep of the Pioneers. Rough night for Brandon Boss. The first make would be his last, and it came just a couple minutes in. The Coyotes' leading scorer finished 1 for 9 from the floor. Trey Norris picked up some of the slack offensively. He kisses the glass in transition, 2 of his 15, and it puts USD in front by 1. Adam Thosby continued his solid play off the bench. The Aussie connects from downtown. He scored 15 as well, including 3 for 4 from beyond the arc. Turnovers hurt USD throughout the first half, though. Thosby's pass picked off by Cam Griffin. Ahead to Jalen Love for the slam, and just like that, it's a 9-point lead for the Pioneers. Casey Kasperbauer making his first start of the year on Saturday. Cuts into the deficit with a long 2, but Denver had momentum, and Brett Olsen made sure they kept it. Pulls the trigger for 3. He did a lot of that on Saturday. Fast forward to the final seconds of the half. Coyotes turn it over again, and again, Love makes it hurt. Beats the buzzer from half court to put the Pioneers up 12 at the break. Kasperbauer tries to get USD going early in the second, his second triple of the game. He scored 9 points on the night. Later, it's Thosby on the drive. Nice dish to Karim Rousen for 2. That brought USD within 13, but the long ball helped quell any real hope of a comeback. It's Olsen again. He hit 6 of the Pioneers' 13 three-pointers en route to a career-high 30 points, and Denver avoids the sweep, 75-67. USD pretty good by the numbers. Kyle shot 46% and finished +5 on the boards. But those threes, along with Denver's 21 points off turnovers, proved too costly. USD has now lost 5 straight in the Summit League after starting 3-0. All right, let's take a look at the current Summit League standings. The Coyotes, now 9-14 overall, are tied for 7th with Western Illinois as of today. But with games against 5 of the other tournament-eligible teams on their remaining schedule, there's still plenty of time to make a move. Of course, if they're going to make that climb, USD is going to have to get something done on the road. The Coyotes, who are 1-10 in true road games this season, will play 4 of their final 6 regular season contests away from the Dakota Dome, and that stretch starts this weekend in Indiana against Fort Wayne and IUPUI. We'll stay tuned. A recap of Saturday's tough loss to Denver and a weekend preview are coming up. Head coach Joey James joins us next. And welcome back to Kyle Quarter. Jay Elsen and head coach of the men's team, Joey James now. And Joey, one game, at least a Summit League game for you last week on the schedule, the travel partner at Denver. It's the team that you beat here in your Summit League opener, but they've been pretty well on fire since then. So you knew we were going to get a tough one this time around in the Mile High City.
Yeah, you know, Denver's a very good basketball team, very disciplined. They run their stuff. They execute it very well. I thought we did a nice job. We jumped out. I think at one point it was 19-18. We were right there. But I thought that they just started making threes. I mean, and I just got done watching the film. They hit 13 of them. 10 of those were highly contested shots. And sometimes you got to just tip your hat to those guys. And they made the plays. They made the shots they need to make. And and we didn't when it really boiled down to it.
13 threes as a team. 6 of those came from Brett Olsen. He had a big game here in Vermilion, but he went for a career-high 30 on you on Saturday. And seeing some of the video myself, it's pretty obvious he was one of those guys that was just kind of in the zone that night.
Yeah, Brett's a very good player. He's very smart. He's got a great IQ for the game, really good feel. He really looks good in their offense, and it fits him really well for what they do. But we had no answer for him. I mean, they were ball screening. He turned the corner. He made floaters, made step-back threes off the dribble. Had a tough time with him, and I thought our guys contested most of his shots and tried to make it as tough as we could, but he stepped up and made big plays.
Well, and you mentioned it was a close game early, and then you get into the half or getting close to the half. They kind of put together a run on you. I think it was 16-6 to go in up 12, including a half-court buzzer beater from Jalen Love at the half that kind of capped that for them. But I thought certainly something that contributed to that was the fact that you had 8 first-half turnovers. They scored 13 points off those. Yeah,
and some of those turnovers are just things that we can control ourselves, and I thought we did a poor job taking care of the basketball. Their press didn't affect us at all, really. I just thought that we didn't take care of it like we should be able to. And I believe we only turned them over one time, and so that was disappointing there. But, I tell you what, when you look at the game, we shot more free throws. Field goal percentage-wise, it was about dead even. We out-rebounded them. So we did some really nice things, in that game. But I thought the difference was they hit 13 threes. And I mean, we couldn't stop Brett Olsen. Held Udolphi at a 2 for 11 from the field. We had some other guys step up for us. Adam Thosby, I thought, had a very good game. But at the end of the day, Trevor Gruce and Brandon Boss have got to start playing better basketball for us down the stretch here if we're going to ever have an opportunity to try to win either home or on the road.
Well, and that, of course, will start this weekend as you guys head to Indiana for a tough road trip, obviously starting Thursday night at Fort Wayne. This is a team that's been at the top of the league all year. You got them here in Vermilion, but they're coming off a couple of tough losses in Brookings and Fargo last weekend, so they're going to be ready to go Thursday night.
They will be. You know what, and if you really look at this league, the home teams are the teams that are holding court right now, and your teams that are leading the league are either getting both on the road or they're split in worst case scenario. And so we got to go on the road and battle a tough Fort Wayne team and a tough IUPUI team, and somehow, some way, we got to figure out how to win a road game. It's been very frustrating and disappointing, but I believe that we're going to get one, hopefully 2 this week.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for your time. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, Joe. Well, the Coyote women were looking for payback as they tipped off the second half of their Summit League schedule against the Pioneers. We'll have the highlights and post-game reactions from that one next. And welcome back. Well, if the USD women are going to make a strong second-half push in the Summit League, they couldn't ask for a better schedule. The Coyotes will play 5 of their final 7 regular season games at the Dakota Dome, where they had won 7 of their first 8 games this season. That stretch started Friday night against Denver. Coyotes looking for a little payback after losing to the Pioneers 91-84 in Denver back on January 12th. USD starters struggled last time out against South Dakota State, but they would bounce back nicely in this one. Micheal Contreras gets things started right to the rim for 2. Taya Hebiller had a big first half. She steps back, pops the 3. She was 5 for 6 from the floor, 2 of 2 beyond the arc in the opening 20 minutes. Meanwhile, Nicole Seekamp back in the starting lineup for the first time since January 16th, and she gives the fans something to cheer about. That put the Yotes up 5. Denver hung tough, though, largely because of Elsen Janicek. She paced the Pioneers with 12 first-half points and helped cut the deficit to 3 by the break. Coyotes went back to the drawing board to start the second, and boy, did it pay off, especially for Polly Harrington. She went to work in the post, scoring 6 of USD's first 8 points of the half. Buckets were few and far between for the Pioneers. Morgan Van Riper-Rose hit 6 threes in the first meeting, but that would be her only one of the night. She was 1 for 4 from outside. Even if she had hit a couple more, it probably wouldn't have mattered because the Coyotes were red hot. Seekamp dials it up from long distance. She had 17. Her next attempt wouldn't fall, but it didn't matter. Harrington there for the putback and 1. She had a team high 18 on 8 of 10 shooting, and the Coyotes earned the series split in convincing fashion, 88-67 the final. Really a complete effort on both ends of the floor, but they were especially good on that offensive end. USD shot almost 67% in the second half and ended up with 4 starters in double figures.
I think we just attacked a little bit harder. I know in the first half, Rachel and Taya were attacking pretty good, but I know collectively as a group, everybody attacked, and we got on the offensive boards, and I think that helped us out a lot, and we got to the free throw line. So just because of that attacking, so I think that helped us out.
You know, I think that we did a pretty good job, you know, in the second half of getting a few more post touches. And when that happens, then some inside-outside action, which makes those outside perimeter shots a little bit, just a little easier. But, you know, Polly made some big-time buckets in that second half, and Margaret had a couple good catches. And when you can get those post touches and points in the paint, that field goal percentage almost always goes up.
I think everybody is just ready to go through this second round and step up and play like the team that we know we are. And I think that was a big factor tonight on why 4 players were in double digits. People just stepped up and made plays and made shots.
All right, now after an 0-4 start, the Coyotes have now won 3 of their last 4 in the Summit League. IUPUI and South Dakota State have separated themselves from the pack a bit, but seeds 3 through 7 are completely up in the air at this point, and USD's home-heavy schedule could certainly come into play down the stretch. The Coyotes, who are 8-1 at the Dakota Dome this season as of now, will host the league's top 3 teams down the stretch, starting this weekend with Fort Wayne and IUPUI, and then, of course, a little bit further down the road, South Dakota State comes to town for the regular season finale on March 2nd. Well, Amy Williams feels a lot better about where her team is sitting after Friday's rout of Denver. We're going to look back and forward with USD's head coach when we return on Coyote Corner. And welcome back to Coyote Corner. The USD women coming off a win over Denver, got some payback against the Pioneers. Here to talk more about that is head coach of the Coyotes, Amy Williams. And Amy, you opened the Summit League schedule a few weeks back at Denver. Did not go well. Defensively, I know you were pretty disappointed in the effort, but this time, very different story. I thought, just from my perspective, maybe one of the more complete games you guys have played, at least on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I think that we definitely carried out our defensive game plan a lot better, and were able to hold them far below what we gave up at their place. And you know, they're a tough team to play at home. They're a tough team, you know, anywhere. They just have a lot of offensive weapons. But I thought we made a commitment to that defensive effort, and it paid off for us. Yeah, and particularly at the three-point line, it was noticeable because they hit 8 on you in Denver. Morgan Van Riper-Rose hit 6 of those. And you held her in check all night. She only got 4 attempts off, only made 1 of them. And obviously, anytime you can limit the three-point buckets, it's going to help you in the end. Yeah, that's been kind of an Achilles heel for our defense all conference season. We've been giving up a lot of three-point shots, and we needed to defend that perimeter a lot better. I think our girls were really focused on trying to hold Van Riper-Rose and Teresa Worth in check, since they had both combined for such a great game at their place, and so I thought that focus paid off, and we were able to keep those two starters in check.
Yeah, those two combined for 48 points in the first meeting, held them to just 11 on 5 of 15 shooting on Friday night. On the offensive end, very balanced effort. 4 starters reached double figures in this one. Maybe a breath of fresh air after they struggled in the loss to South Dakota State the weekend before.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to see. You know, we keep talking about if we can get everybody kind of firing on all cylinders, that will make our team very difficult to defend. And I thought we did a pretty good job of that. In the first half, they were really doubling our posts pretty hard. And then in the second half, for Polly to be able to step up and score like she did, even after, you know, sometimes they can throw you a little out of sync with all those double teams in there. So it was good to see that, and just great balanced scoring.
Yeah, Polly Harrington, 18 points on the night. She was 8 of 10 from the floor, so I'm sure you'll take that anytime you can get it. And Nicole Seekamp returned to the starting lineup, gave us 17 points. I think she was 4 of 12 from the field. Overall, just continued progress for her?
Yes, I mean, I thought it was the best we'd seen her play for several weeks, well, since the injury. And then she went down in the second half and kind of came up hobbling again. And so we'll have to see moving forward where she's going to be. But great performance and gutty performance from her.
All right, moving on this weekend now, and it's the Indiana schools, Fort Wayne and IUPUI coming in here. Fort Wayne up first on Thursday. Of course, we talked about Van Riper-Rose and the performance individually that she had on you. Haley Seibert was even better, and she had 35 points in the loss to Fort Wayne back on January 18th. What's got to be done differently to defend her this time?
Well, we're going to have to do a better job on her and Hyde both. I mean, those two players have not just were spectacular against us the last time we played them, but have been great here lately for their team and just really keying all their scoring production. So we're going to have to really lock in and focus, try to limit touches and open looks from behind that arc and do a much better job defensively.
IUPUI comes in here fresh off a win over South Dakota State, the first team to find a way to beat the Jacks in Summit League play this year. They forced 20 turnovers on you in the matchup in Indianapolis, turned that into 24 points. And so obviously taking better care of the basketball is probably going to be a priority for you here.
Yeah, it will be a priority, and I think you know, they play a unique style of play, and defensively they play differently than what we see from most of the other opponents in our league. So it's sometimes it can take your breath away a little bit. That, you know, you kind of got to get used to that pressure. But I think taking care of the basketball, getting some more attempts at the basket will be key in that ball game.
All right. Well, good luck to you. We'll see you back here next week.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right.
Jay.
Well, coming up, the Coyote football team secured another impressive group of incoming freshmen on National Signing Day. We'll take a closer look at the class of 2014 with head coach Joe Glenn after this. And welcome back to Coyote Corner. The University of South Dakota football program inked 30 athletes on National Signing Day last week. And here to talk a little bit more about that is head coach of the Coyotes, Joe Glenn. And Joe, always, I'm sure, as a football coach, feels good when you get all those signatures in and you can relax a little bit from the recruiting process.
There is kind of a finish line to the recruiting, and it is signing date. But no sooner do you finish than you got to start recruiting for next year. I have an old cliche that we've always used. It's like shaving. Recruiting is, if you don't do it every day, you look like a bum. So anyway, we're already started on next year, and certainly you gather your junior list, and we'll be out spring recruiting after spring ball. So, but feel great about the guys that signed up with us.
Well, I know your philosophy has been pretty simple, and you've tried to stick to it, and it is that you want to recruit from the steps, and this is a quote from you, from the steps of Old Main on out, and that's pretty apparent with the guys that you got. 6 from South Dakota, 6 from Illinois, 5 from Iowa, 3 from Nebraska, and the list goes on, but the point is these families can see their guys play college football, right?
That's been, that goes back to the Joe Salem era, or maybe even before that, but you try and look at what was successful when this university had the best football teams. And Dave Triplett, Joe Salem, those guys, I think, they built from inside out and get South Dakota boys that you can get that can help you and then keep working out from there. And you try and find an area maybe that you don't have every team in the league recruiting. And whatever, we got 25 guys signed to scholarships, another 5 guys signed letters of intent to attend our university, and we're really excited about it.
Let's take a look positionally, and obviously some big losses in the secondary, and that, as a result, was a big part of the effort in recruiting. 9 defensive backs you guys signed.
Yeah, I think in that group we have what we call an athlete category, but a lot of these guys are 6'2" or better. They can all run. We had a lot of them in camp. Put a stopwatch on them in camp. Timed everybody in camp and timed some drills that they were doing, and it just we got some athletes that got to be able to help us somewhere, and we think we got guys that can do special teams when you get athletes like this. They're inside, outside linebacker types, safety, strong safety types, so a lot of guys in that category.
All right, well, and real quickly, Joe, with all these guys in mind, pick a couple that could be immediate impact guys that could help you right away in 2014.
Well, we went to the junior college ranks for a few guys. Eric Schuford is a wide receiver that's already here and tearing it up in the weight room, and is a punt return, kickoff return wide receiver. He had about over 1,000 yards at San Bernardino Community College last year. Nickname is Munchie. We'll have fun with that one. And 2 corners, Michael Lilly from Santa Ana Junior College, the Dons, love it. And Chris Tyler from Iowa Western, where he played down a national championship 2 years ago. He's an Omaha North kid, so got Omaha. And then we did get a defensive lineman from California named Mason Reese. Big dude, good basketball player, he says. And he came in and committed and signed with us, so big 290-pound defensive line guy, he should help us a lot.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Joe. Well, congratulations on the recruiting class, and we look forward to seeing him get out on the field.
Thanks, Jay.
All right. Well, that is our time for this week. The basketball teams, remember, will be back at it this weekend against Fort Wayne on Thursday, and IUPUI on Saturday. Women at home, men on the road. And we'll, of course, be back here to break it all down for you next Tuesday night on another episode of Kyle's Corner.